All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my early AFC playoff picture. So last week, me and my co-host Rob Sarasula put together our early NFC playoff picture. This week, I'll be switching it over to the different conference of the AFC. So I'll be sharing the 7 teams that I do believe, based off of the first 2 weeks of football, where they will rank playoff seeding wise, which teams will win their division, and how the AFC playoff picture will look early, very early after the first 2 weeks of football. So number one, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC this year, and I think they're going to win the AFC East. Pretty easy schedule throughout the season. Only play a total of 5 playoff caliber teams from last year. And it seems like they already won their hardest game of their schedule, that week 1 game that they played against the Baltimore Ravens. That could determine their fate, and that could determine the tiebreaker that happens between the Baltimore Ravens and the Bills as the season goes on. I think both of those teams are going to win 12 to 13 games this NFL season, which puts me at number 2. The Baltimore Ravens will win the AFC North. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens always shine in the regular season. Lamar is one of the most impressive regular season quarterbacks of this era, basically of all time, as successful as he's been in the regular season. The 3rd seed, I'm going to go with the LA Chargers to win the AFC West based on what I see in the first 2 weeks of football. They've been playing well on both ends of the ball. Justin Herbert looks locked in, and the defense looks locked in. I think they could be in store winning the AFC West this year. Number 4, or the 4th seed, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts to win the AFC South. They are 2-0. I want to see if this continues, but based off of the production I've seen offensively out of Daniel Jones and the rest of the committee offensively, I think it would take a lot for the Texans to steal this division from the Colts after starting off their season 0-2. Wildcard teams, 5th seed, I'll go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Can't count them out even though they started off the season 0-2, but I don't know if they can win the AFC West after starting off 0-2. 6th seed, I will go with the Denver Broncos to secure a spot in the playoffs. And the 7th seed, it gets dicey between the Texans, Steelers, and the Patriots. But I'll go with the Houston Texans to get the final wild card spot. So those are my 7 teams to make the AFC playoffs. A deeper dive into why I have them ranked 1 through 7. 1st seed, the Bills. They're already 2-0. And 2 impressive victories against the Ravens. And they handled business against a divisional foe in the New York Jets last Sunday. But that Ravens game, guys, it was so important. It was a statement win for both teams. But like I just said a few moments ago, that might have been the most important game of the season for the Bills and the Ravens earlier on. Because like I said, I can see both of these teams winning 12 to 13 games, winning their divisions. But it's going to come down to the tiebreaker. And the Bills will own the tiebreaker over the Ravens based off of defeating them week 1 in head-to-head play. So that's how I see it playing out with the Bills getting the number 1 seed if they're completely healthy throughout the season. And the running game is just very effective with the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen and James Cook, that's a good quarterback, running back, 1-2 punch that you could throw in the RPO system. And Josh Allen, coming off his MVP season last year, he's shown that he can elevate wide receivers and pass catchers to step up. He doesn't need a big name like a Stephon Diggs that he used to have in Buffalo for the Bills to have success offensively throwing the football. I mean, he's elevated guys like Keon Coleman. You'll probably see Josh Palmer step up as the season goes on. They got a good 1-2 punch at tight end and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. So as the season goes on, you'll see more pass catchers step up for the Buffalo Bills. And he's already established that he's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the National Football League. He could get it done with his arm, get it done with his legs. And Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator, I think he's going to be in line to get an NFL job around the springtime next year or during the NFL offseason. That man is one of the best play callers in football. I think they could go undefeated in their division in the AFC East this year, playing the Jets that they've already taken care of once. The Dolphins that they'll play Thursday Night Football, I think they'll take care of them. The Patriots, they could honestly go undefeated in AFC East play this year. So, give me the Bills to get the 1st seed. Ooh, the Ravens, 2nd seed. Despite being 1-1, I think that the Ravens are the 2nd best team in the AFC behind the Buffalo Bills right now. I know that they're going to win the regular season games. Lamar Jackson is one of the most successful quarterbacks in regular season history. With Joe Burrow being injured and sidelined up until December, and I don't think the Bengals are going to put him back out there for the rest of the season if they're not a playoff contending team. So this might have been the last that we see in Joe Burrow for the regular season. But with this Joe Burrow injury, it's now a two team race in the AFC North between the Ravens and the Steelers. And I trust the Ravens over the Steelers. But the only flaw that I think the Ravens have as a team is they find a way to blow fourth quarter leads. That's unacceptable. John Harbaugh has blown 17 fourth quarter leads. That is absurd. So if they can not find a way to beat themselves, if they can find a way not to blow fourth quarter leads, I don't see why the Ravens wouldn't be a 12-5, 13-4 team this NFL season. So that's why I think they'll be the second seed in the AFC this year. Now, third seed, the Chargers. Now, this gets dicey because they look elite. It's a tough division. The Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos. That is a very tough division. The AFC West is the cream of the crop. But the Chargers have looked elite in the first 2 weeks. Justin Herbert looks aggressive so far, passing the football. Ladd McConkey, he has weapons. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen. That's a good trio at the wide receiver position, especially with Quentin Johnson starting to step up and Keenan Allen being the veteran, not being asked to be the number one receiving option. And they got a good, I think as the season goes on, Greg Roman's offense is a run-first offense. So I think they'll pick it up with Hampton, their rookie at the running back position, and Najee Harris running the football as the season goes on. But the defense is pretty good. They haven't allowed a first half touchdown all season long. Them and the Packers are the only teams not to allow that. So I think the Chargers, based on what we've seen right now, it's safe to say that they could be the third seed in the AFC and win the AFC West. Fourth seed, Indianapolis Colts, and they got to get it because the AFC South has to have a division winner. But the Colts, the only question I have about them is, can they keep it up all year? Looking good and playing good. We're not asking them to be the best team in the AFC. No, we're asking them to win the AFC South. And if they could keep this up, if they can win at least 10 games, 9 games, or I would say 10 games to make yourself look good and not vulnerable. But 10 games, I don't want to see this Colts team drop off to a team that started off 2-0 last year that looked good offensively. They were humming. If you guys forget, it was the Saints that started off 2-0 last year with Derek Carr and company. Then they plummeted and fell off a rock. It fell off a cliff, I should say. And that was the end of them. But if the Colts don't take that approach and don't take a backseat like the Saints did after starting off 2-0 last year, they have the advantage in the division right now. You look at the AFC West, the Texans are 0-2, Titans are 0-2, the Jaguars are 1-1. They keep this up and win their division games, they could be in the driver's seat to win the AFC South this year. So that's why I have the Colts winning this division. And the offenses look really good. I think this is the best ball that we've seen Daniel Jones play since a few years ago when him and Brian Daboll not reunited, but connected with each other. The first year that Daboll was there in New York. He looks really good passing the football. I'm really surprised. But as of now, I think they can win this division. Now, the wild card teams. The Chiefs, I like them getting the 5th seed. And the wild card spot, I think they could be really a dangerous team to match up if you're the winner of the AFC South Division this year in the playoffs. But as I digress, great teams find a way to eventually wake up and smell the coffee. Yes, they've started off 0-2, but this is a team that's been to several Super Bowls in the last 6 to 7 years, won 3 Super Bowls. They'll eventually figure it out as the season goes on. I think they will, after starting off 0-2. And if they don't, then it's game over. Because the division is loaded. The Chargers, who they already lost to, the Broncos, the Raiders. I mean, this is not a time to fall asleep behind the wheel if you're the Chiefs. But I think they'll end up with a wild card spot. It's hard to say they'll win the division after starting off 0-2. But they could prove me wrong. But I like them getting a wild card spot right now in the AFC. And they could pick it up offensively if their offense gets healthy around week 7, week 8. 6th seed, the Broncos. I only have them so low because there can only be one division winner in each division in football. But the AFC West is just so damn good. And you've seen that last year when 3 teams made the playoffs, where the Chargers made the playoffs, the Chiefs made the playoffs, the Broncos made the playoffs. So I think they'll be good enough. to get in, but it's just, you got to be so damn good just to win that division. Right now, I just got to say, off of an early eyeball test, that the Chargers will win the AFC West. Could lose 2 to 3 divisional games if you're the Broncos too, which is something you don't want to hear, but it could be a reality. And last but not least, the Texans. This another team that has to dig themselves out of the hole in the 0-2 start. And I think this last spot in the AFC could be up for grabs between those 3 teams that I mentioned, the Texans, the Patriots, and the Steelers. I have faith in the Texans out of all 3 of those teams. And even though the Patriots are my sleeper team, the Texans will eventually wake up and play good football. But the Texans have a really good defense, hardly any flaws in the defense, really good front 7, really good secondary. The offense is lacking flavor right now. And this might be a hot take, but the offense has not looked good since C.J. Stroud's rookie season. And we're in his 3rd season with him being the starter for the Houston Texans. That's a hot take to some, but this offense overall is missing flavor. They're missing the presence of Tank Dell. We know that C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell have that special connection, and right now we don't know the time frame of when Tank Dell is going to return back to the football field for the Texans. But the fact that Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore either, but the fact that you still have a number 1 wide receiver in Nico Collins, you got to feed this man the ball. This man is a top 10 receiver in the National Football League. He's got to get more looks, more targets, more catches to help the Texans improve offensively. Because the problems that they've had on offense is, you could kind of point the finger at the offense of why they started off 0-2. Look at that tight ball game against the Rams week 1. They really couldn't get going offensively. Then last night against the Bucs, you put together a few more offensive drives, cash in a few more opportunities, you could be starting off your season 2-0 instead of 0-2. So I think the Texans just got to get it better. But I like their chances of coming back being a wild card team after starting off the season 0-2. I don't know if they can win the AFC South after starting off 0-2, but that is my early AFC playoff picture.